Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, we'll be doing some setup for my Hobonichi Weeks for 2022. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so this video may be a little long. There's some things I'll show you. There's some things we'll be setting up together. The intro is a little misleading. It is going to be set up for 2022, but I'm actually going to start this December 2021. This is a Hobonichi Weeks. If you saw my last video, I will be using this to plan some things out in conjunction with this. I did get my Moterm cover, and I did decide to use my Hobonichi Weeks Mega. And once we do some setup, I'll show you the reason why. This isn't the final way that I'm going to have this done, but I have used quite a bit of these little tab things that you get. I think it's an Avery brand. I got mine from Amazon. I probably could actually have found this in Target or Walmart, but Amazon is just easier for me to shop in. It does hold a notebook that comes with the accessory pack if you purchase it. I do have a stencil that my friend Christy had sent to me. And then again, I'm not sure on the deco on here, but that's not really important. In fact, these will probably leave. I just needed a place to put them. I'm sorry if there's a glare, but I do have a clear cover on here. Now the clear cover that is for the Hobonichi Weeks, either the Mega or the regular, doesn't actually fit very nicely in here. So what I've done is I actually have sliced this off. I don't know if you can see that. It's clear, so it makes it hard. But I sliced that portion off. And then I just taped the flap together. I just wanted to protect the cover. The cover is linen, just because that's how I prefer with my journals, all of them. It doesn't matter what the actual material is. And I think it actually might be easier to just work on this outside of the Moterm cover. I also did tape down the bookmarks. I generally don't use them. I'm also going to have a pen in here. This is a Sarasa Vintage in the gray colorway. I actually realized that I have a ton of pens in the office, and I have basically the same pens here when I'm working from home, but when I'm in transport, I actually don't have any pens whatsoever. So I thought, well, I might as well make use of it. With the Stology that I had, which was also an Moterm cover, I never used the pen loop. But again, usually it's not an issue because I have pens wherever it is that I am, but I don't have any in transit. So that'll stay there until it gets annoying, and then I'll take it out. Okay, so we're gonna do some decoration in this front cover, but we're going to make it very simple and straightforward. This is just paper that I cut from one of my Traveler's Notebooks booklets. Sorry, it's after work, and I haven't been feeling well these past few days, so my brain isn't all there, but that's where this is. And I'm going to use this as both a pencil board as well as blotter sheets. But for this front cover, I do have something in mind. Now, I did rescue a bunch of tracing paper from the office. They were clearing out another office and had thrown away this really large ream of tracing paper, vellum paper away. I rescued it from the trash. I confirmed that it was okay to do so, and so I've got a bunch of this with me. And so I'm just going to just lightly mark the page size. I'm not going for accuracy or anything. I just want to know the kind of space that I'm dealing with, because I'm not going to put the pocket down that comes with it. I'm actually not going to decorate any of this other stuff. It's something that I can do later on down the line if I want to, but this definitely does need to be more functional than pretty. And if I stick stickers down, then it's permanent. And I kind of like the idea that I'm going to go with here. So I've taken this vellum, I've kind of marked out the size of the page just so I know what I'm dealing with. I'm going to put down just swatches of some Tombow water-based markers, and this will dry. I don't need it to get it too perfect, but I do have an idea of what I want in my head. So I'm just going to put 2 blotches like that. I'm actually going to use the blotter sheets. If I were just doing this off camera, I would just let it sit and dry, but no one has time for that. And so you can see it works. That one was already dry. I've got a Tombow Fudanowski. This is the heart tip. And so I'm just going to write on here. Clean up my edges. December. Okay, and we'll put 2021, and just to make it a little festive, put a little bit of janky holly on here. Okay, I think that looks good. And the reason why I wasn't too concerned on the accuracy of that is I just knew I needed something smaller than that. So I'm going to take my ruler and just kind of rip it. Oh, definitely need to be aware of what's on the page. And do this side as well. And this. And then that'll go just nicely there. So let me clean this up. And I did pick out these 2 washi from my stash. I've actually had these for quite some time. And I think the red, although the green, the red definitely pops, but I think I like the green better. Oh, good. I wasn't sure if I needed to cut this one. Now, because it's sticking on itself, this isn't too tacky, so I should be able to take this up. My hopes is every month I can do a new intro on this front cover here, something in a very similar style where I do some blobs. I do it on the vellum. You can still see the Hobonichi branding underneath. I put some interesting washi, and then I've got something that changes on a monthly basis that's really easy to do. I think that looks really sweet. Now, hopefully that'll stay. Again, I don't test anything out. I'm not going to put anything here. I did actually mark this as well. So this is going to be my period tracker. I didn't put the months here. I know what the months are. For this one, I did a little bit of lettering and some background color. And then I did mark when I actually had my period in 2021. I'm nearly 50, so it's not surprising to me that some of these months skipped. That's just how it is, I guess. I'll follow this as we go through 2022, and then the next time I talk to my doctor, I'll certainly bring that up to her. 2023, interesting to have, don't need it, not going to do anything to it. This one, I could put a sticker over it, but I mean, I'm not pining for additional space, so there's no reason for me to do that. Here, I've already started marking out some things. I've done a key at the top, so if I'm requesting any vacation in the year 2022, I'll mark the vacation days down. That is a gray mild liner. Birthdays I've already marked for either office workers or family. Holidays I've marked, and this is the holidays that I actually get the day off. And then if I have any sick days, I'll also mark them. And all of these are in mild liners, and I wanted to choose mild liners because I have them both here and in the office. And so if I need to do anything in either location, I'll have the same colors in both places. And if you're noticing, there are holidays that I get because I am a state worker in Hawaii, and there are 3 state holidays that we get that you guys on the mainland or elsewhere don't. And I do have... I don't know why that's stuck like that. I did start working on December again. I will be using this as of December. And so I did a little bit of lettering here. Behind it, I just use, I believe it was a Tombow to write the word December, and then I used one of these twin tones on the fine tip end to outline it, and then I did some lettering on top of it. I don't know whose channel I had seen that on, but I thought that was really pretty. And then what you see here is all of the green are when I want videos to go up in the month of December. All of the pink are all of the potential days I can film. I do have some vacation days here, so I could film here if I wanted to. There's a lot going on in the beginning of December because I am going to be participating in Poet Spice's 12 Days of Christmas Cheer. And then I also have a collab that I'm doing with Jamie, Sarah, and Tiarna. So there are days where I have double things going on. And then I like to do a video anyway on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So that's why you see some multiple lines, because ultimately what I'll be writing in here is that will be the video. If I have scheduled and uploaded one, that'll be the actual name, and it'll be in pen. I will go back in here probably either later tonight or sometime this weekend and kind of map out what I potentially want for these days. All of that will be in pencil. I did do this down here just like I had shown you when I was doing my pre-planning to figure out what videos I want that'll correspond to here. So this will basically be a list of those things there, again in pencil. And if I need to move things around, I can. I learned the hard way in my stology that even though I prefer pen, it's not conducive if I don't have firm thoughts on what I want to either film or schedule, because then it makes it really hard if I change my mind or if something else comes up to kind of pencil them in and figure it out. So doing it in pencil in the majority of the box and then writing it in pen once I know for sure what it is that will be scheduled for that day, I think will just be easier on me. This is film schedule that actually goes into this, and then this is if I have any thoughts about video ideas, and this is just my key of what these things mean. For these two, I'm actually going to write vacation on there because those are outliers. That's a vacation, or that's actually a holiday. That's a holiday, and then I also have the ability to film on the weekends. I do use Andy's FES method, which is film, edit, and schedule. And so once I've done all of the planning up here, and then I write the list here, and then once all of these things are done, I'll check it off just so it gives me an idea of where I am in the process. There's a lot going on in December, but I have found that this has helped. So it's just transferring over in the information that I had in my stology to this. Now, I did put these tabs on here. The glare is probably insane because they're kind of glittery, but they are flat. I know I won't be in this monthly section. I know I won't be in the index section, and I know I won't be in the bills section on a daily basis. So I put those tabs on the side. I chose as of right now not to put a monthly tab on here because I'm only in ever 1 week of the month. I don't forward plan. I don't look back to see what's been done. And so I didn't feel a need to put any of those there. But at the bottom here, I don't know if if you can see, but any of the things I do want to be in on a daily basis, it's just easier for me to go it if the tabs are at the bottom. These are repositionable, so every month as I go through it, I'll be careful and I'll just position it on the next month that I'm actually in. Same with the weekly, I will do the same. I don't want it sticking out too far. So I've only got maybe 1/4 of an inch sticking out there because I don't want it to extend past here. Then I know it's safe when it's in my Moterm cover. And then every month, it'll be pretty much the same. I'll probably do the pink and green just because it is quite striking. I did originally have pink and this like really pale yellow, but I really couldn't tell. The pink really just gives me a bird's eye view of, okay, if I'm not feeling well this weekend, I still have the potential to do some filming here because I'm off, just in case I want to bulk film for this week, or into January. It helps me, and I'll probably do 2 or 3 months at a time. January is a busy month for me because that's when we start the new semester where I work, and so it's just about being aware of what I'm doing, but this is the only kind of planning or pre-planning that I actually do. When I get into the weekly, which I'll actually set up in a separate video, this is a log of things that I have done. I don't pre-plan or plan anything when it comes to my work because in my head I know exactly what it is that I need to do, and so I just like keeping a running log of what has been done. Again, I'll do a separate video on this with you guys, and I'll probably have that scheduled in the next week or so. But I'm looking forward to starting this. It's currently after work on the, what is today? The 23rd of November. So I will actually be using this next week. So I'll be filming it sometime soon, and it'll go up probably the first week of December. Now I did decide that I am going to use this index page. So this is one of the first things that we're going to do together. Okay, but I need to adjust this slightly. Now, I'm going to use whiteout. It's not a perfect match, but to be honest, I don't need it to be. They do have colored whiteout. I think there's even a cream one, but again, I'm not going to be too precious about this. I'd like it to look nice. I don't need it to look perfect. Okay. Now there's actually no lines on this particular page, but it does line up with the grid underneath. And so I'm going to be using that. And I'm using this twin tone in gray just to kind of mimic this here. And I did want to put in an index because there's several things that's going on in here, and the reason why I'm using the Mega instead of the regular one with the cover that I absolutely love, and I'll show you why in a second. And I thought about either tipping in or just gluing another page on here, but except for that little part right there, the rest of this is fully functional. So I'll do one more. And it's not a perfect match, but it certainly looks good enough to me. Again, this is going to be my index, and basically it's just going to be a running listing of what's going on back here. Once you hit the notes page in a Hobonichi Weeks, they're actually numbered, and so I can say that this is my intro for it's not necessarily a bullet journal, it's more of a journal, but there'll be all kinds of things in here. I will have the trackers. Again, the tab will move as the trackers move, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. The journal will be always on the page that I can journal on next, so I'm not going to segment this like this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a day for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to journal until I feel like stopping, and then I'll pick up the next day or the next time I want to journal right underneath it. So I'm not going to segment this out, but this will move. So when I'm in here and I just want to go to my journaling, I'll just go to wherever the tab is, and it'll take me right to the last place that I was. And that's why I like using these, because they are repositionable. And I'll fill that in as things are put down. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do here yet. I might make this as quotes or whatnot, but I didn't want to start the actual tracker until this page here. Now, the reason why I'm using this is because when I did this with you guys, I just assumed that the 2021 version was exactly the same as the 2019 version that I had purchased, meaning it gave you the full year of the weeks, and then it gave you the first 3 months of the next year of the weeks. Well, this one ends in December. There is no additional weeks, and I was actually going to use that for something. So because that's gone, and there was only 70 notes pages in the regular one, I didn't feel like I had enough space to do everything that I wanted, and I didn't want to have to carry all of those extra small little booklets. So I thought, okay, well, this was already on its way, so I might as well just use this one. So this is going to be empty, and if anything, this is going to just be decorative, so I don't need to mark a tracker or anything, but I did want to create a tracker for my highlight reel. And so I was figuring out how I wanted that to look, and it's going to look like this. So I'm going to have my highlight reel here. I'm going to do the things that I want to track on a daily basis. This is something that I was doing in my Mystology and I really enjoyed. And then on this side, this is some things by way of my hobbies that I just want to keep track of on a monthly basis. So this is the December highlight reel and trackers. And I think at least for December, we'll see how it works. And on the side here, I've got creative journal, read, what I've watched, butters, and hashtags. This is my butter colors that I want to keep track of just so that I know that I'm on task. Hashtags in the coloring book community that I want to follow. That's pretty explanatory by way of TV and movies. I actually have been reading a lot more in the last few weeks, and I think it's because I haven't been feeling well. It's just something I can do in bed. And then creative journaling. I want to do at least 1 or 2 creative journalings because I do have quite a few creative journals that I've just been putting to the wayside, but I do want to give all of my different hobbies a little bit of love every single month, and that'll be a way for me to focus on that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to kind of map out in here. And this is a really pale color, and I think it'll look interesting. And what I'm doing, I'm just mapping out so I don't have to count anything. And I'll probably do that on a monthly basis, where I just take this one. So I better put this back. And I can mark out that side. And for some, this might seem crazy as there are lines on the page, but I find this very, very relaxing. Maybe not so much on camera with you guys, but it definitely is relaxing. And so what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to draw this out. And on this one, starting 1 down, I'm going to color this in before I mark any lines and before I do any numbering. And the reason why I put the numbers here on the spine is it corresponds to the day of the month, and I can use it for either side so I don't have to keep writing numbers. And it doesn't have to be perfect because once I draw the lines, then it'll kind of square up. And this one is actually just for decor. And then I'm going to do the same here, where I'm going to line these up. It's not very precise, but again, I've already counted this out, so there's no point in me counting it out again. And then just making lines where these things are. And because these are set by me, I can do it for this month like this, and then if I realize next month, nope, that's just too much space, I can always change it. And I really, really like these twin tones, not even so much for the thicker side, but I like this thinner side because it does make the lines very thin. And because I have the pastel set, they're not very obtrusive by way of the coloring. Okay, and let's get a thin pen. And I counted out too many spaces. And so we're just going to put decor, top and bottom. Okay. Then I'm going to go into the spine of here, kind of clean that up. I mean, honestly, other than this video right here, you guys don't really see this as much as I'll see this. So it doesn't bother me if there is some handmadeness to it, because I mean, obviously I'm doing all of this by hand. So let me just put in all of the lines, and I'll be back when I'm done with all that. Okay, so I've got it all mapped out. I did put this Tombow down just as a soft highlight, and then I'm going to write over it in a darker color. I did pick up this Mod Liner brush pen from my stash. As you can tell, there's no rhyme or reason by way of the color. All of these, I think, look good together, but they don't necessarily scream December. And honestly, they don't need to. Now you probably can't see much of that, but I will go over this. And so the things I'm tracking is not that I necessarily need to do these things. It's more, if I do these things, I want to mark it down. I did split this up. So previously unplug was reading something or watching something. Now I've got actually those in different categories, because I am reading a little bit more and I'm certainly watching a lot more. And because I do consider my YouTube channel part of one of my hobbies, I also want to mark if I've done an upload on one of these days. And then this was hashtags. Watercolors, and that's just buddy colors. Watched, and that's TV and or movies. And that's streaming services. I don't plan to go to a movie theater anytime soon. That's listing the book or books that I've read for that month, and then creative journal. Okay. And I'm tempted, let's see how this looks if I outline. I think that looks good. And what I put in here is just the highlights of the day. It doesn't necessarily mean they were good things. They were just things that happened. I actually use this highlight reel in a number of places. I use this in my illustrative journal. I'll be using this in my Hobonichi A6 sort of collage creative memory keeping journal. I can use this to help me figure out the different things that I've read. And so this really is probably one of the key things I need to remember to do either on a nightly or first thing in the morning basis, just so that I keep a pretty accurate log. Again, it doesn't have to be everything that I've done that day, just the big ticket things. And the big ticket thing might be my knees were bad, or my stomach was sore, or I had something interesting for lunch. I don't know. It's not like I lead a very exciting life, but this just helps me figure out what it is that I did on a day-to-day basis, because my memory is horrible. Then I will set up the journal to start on this side right here. That I probably will do sometime next week when it actually starts, because as I did in here, it's actually going to be very simple. So I don't even know if I'm going to use a sticker. I might just highlight, put a little bit of washi, start journaling, highlight the day, and then just go from there. Again, I'm not looking for a place that I need to do daily journaling. I don't want to put that kind of constraint on myself, but I do want a place that I have somewhere to journal. Now, because I am reading more books and watching more television shows, I don't know if a lot of what I'm journaling about is going to be comprised about that. And I'm going to need to figure out some sort of system for me to remember to color code it, because the movies that I watch and the books that I read, I also track in other things. And so because I have this with me at all times, it's my everyday carry, then I'll just want to make sure that I don't have to read through everything, but also that I don't have to put every single thing down here. Because basically this is probably going to be like January, February, March, April, May. They'll definitely have where I'm going to do my bills. I did count out so that there's enough spaces for bills from December 2021 through December 2022. And then if I do other kind of trackers that I figure out, I need to actually have its own dedicated section for that, I can easily find that on here. That's the way that I'm going to be approaching this. I don't know how useful this was to you guys. It is not as ornate or as colorful, sticker heavy, washi heavy. You're not going to see any sticker kits in here. I'm not purchasing any sticker kits for myself. I actually like that it's very minimal. I get my maximal fix in other things. This I want to keep as thin as possible. So you're going to see a lot of just pen only content in here. Pen, pencil, a few bits and bobs of washi. There might be some stickers. It's certainly going to be towards the back of this, but my weeklies will all be more often than not just pen, paper, maybe some doodles, maybe some like 1 or 2 stickers at the maximum. And again, because it can change, my Stology certainly did that. It went very minimal, very sticker heavy, and then not so much sticker heavy, and it was washi. I mean, it just evolves that I do. But again, I want to keep this as thin as I can because it's already chunky, because there's so many notes pages. It's definitely something that I will keep an eye on. Honestly, I wish Hobonichi had a middle size. The Hobonichi Weeks with the 70 notes pages, it doesn't seem like enough pages. The Mega with the 210 seems like too many pages. I wish there was a medium Hobonichi where they had like 150 pages, because I think that would be exactly the perfect size that I'd need, because I don't honestly know if I'm going to use up all these pages. And if it gets towards the ending of next year and it's starting to bulk up and I have a lot of pages that I haven't used, I might try to figure out a way to just cut some of it out. I don't know. But we'll see how it goes. It's my very first time using a Mega. I actually don't know what I'm going to be using with that other floral regular 2022 weeks. I might just use that as a note taker or whatever. I really love the cover. I originally thought maybe I'll just cut the cover off and glue it on here, but I don't want to destroy that one. But that's it. That's the setup. A little bit of setup for December. I will do a separate video for the weekly setup. I know it's not as exciting as you see in the Hobonichi Weeks community, but to be honest, I don't want it to be, or at least for me, the way that I want this to look for me, it is going to be very minimal, which is not unusual for me, but is unusual for me considering some of the other things that I do. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.